This truly is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in any esports, pretty much ever, really. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I've known about this whole thing for days. I've been hearing a lot about it over the last couple days, but I didn't honestly believe it. Like, from what I knew about it, I didn't, really become inclined to believe anything about it when I first started hearing about it, because it just seemed so crazy to think. I thought it was just a conspiracy that people in the community were kind of gathering over time. Well, it turns out that pretty much really what it was, but it turned out to be correct. This is just psychotic, man. Like, I don't know how something like this can even be allowed to really happen. But a female Overwatch player was revealed to be a male fraud account that was just completely faked as a social experiment. I can't make it up, man. This is insane. This has gone way farther than I thought it would. I mean, there are so many different news stories about it. It has just become huge. Honestly, this is probably one of the biggest controversies in esports of all time. I mean, ESPN put an article out about it. I mean, I know ESPN has been all about esports recently, and they've been one of the first major networks to really embrace esports. They've been, I think, showing League of Legends since like 2014. But even they dropped something, man. Even they put something out about this. So basically, there is an esports league for Overwatch that is actually, I guess, ran by Blizzard and the people behind Overwatch. It's huge. It's one of the biggest esports on the planet. There's teams all over the place. I think London's got a team. I think Korea has a team. And then, of course, there's just a bunch of countries and stuff that have some sort of involvement, whether it's like players being scouted, things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's huge. I mean, it was like, I think, the fourth biggest event last year, or league, in both sports and esports, which is insane. It's a big league, okay? And it's all based around this game, Overwatch, which I'm sure all of you know. I mean, if you're on the internet, Overwatch is one of the most popular games. But this whole scandal surrounds a player that went by the name Ellie, who was one of the, I guess, more popular women esports players in this Overwatch league, right? There was, I think, one called Geguri that I'm reading from this article. But yeah, this Ellie bursts onto the scene, right? And she's one of the more prominent women esports players, which, by the way, apparently women are being discriminated against in esports so badly that, yeah, Ellie comes on the scene, gets picked up by this team called Second Wind. Apparently they kind of come up into the number 4 position on the North American competitive servers. I'm sorry, Second Wind, not Win. I apologize for that. Anyways, she gets on this pretty prominent team, and it's pretty big. It's big news. It's bringing a lot of interest really into the Overwatch League, especially, I guess, maybe even towards females. A big player, I guess, joining such a big team that's doing so well would probably get people who wanted to see a prominent woman in the league, a little bit excited. But pretty quickly, people start to kind of doubt that Ellie is even a real person, or that at least the identity that they all believed to be the identity behind Ellie was actually real. Well, regardless, okay, this male player on the server known as Punisher actually creates this Ellie account, and pretty much this whole Ellie, which didn't actually end up being a female player, so all this support behind this female player was all basically for a dude who faked being a woman, and he was actually coaxing women to act as the role of Ellie during the games, like getting on the mic and using voice communications and stuff like that to like call out or whatever, so it actually seemed like it was a woman playing the game, but these were not women playing the game, they were just there to talk. And as he kept climbing the rankings as this fake woman, Ellie, he picks up a bunch of hype and gets signed onto this team, man, and it's insane. Well, eventually, the voice communications kind of becomes a key role in kind of determining that this was all a fraud to begin with, because it was delayed. Obviously, he's got to tell these women what to say and stuff, and if there were multiple women involved, like people are saying, obviously the voices would sound different and things like that. So, after all this happens and everything, after this Ellie gets signed onto Second Win in this league, and everything kind of starts really taking off for this alias, it gets pretty much confirmed that Ellie doesn't exist. And what's insane about this whole thing, okay, is that Blizzard apparently knew about this whole Ellie thing for weeks and didn't do or say anything about it. And apparently they knew about it before the Ellie Twitter account even got created, okay? This is according to esports reporter Richard Lewis. Apparently, 2 sources in the company confirmed that they were tipped off in advance that there was a player impersonating girls looking to maybe get drafted in all of this stuff. So let me go ahead and lay this one out in layman's terms for you, because this might be a little bit confusing to anyone who hasn't actually, like, read anything, okay? This dude creates a fake alias as a girl, catfishes everyone, is a top 500 player on these servers in North America, is kicking ass as this quote-unquote female, so he can get picked up into the scene by a team and actually, like, play for a team, okay? So obviously, he has a lot to gain, right? I mean, he literally can make a career out of this. He will be one of the more prominent esports players in the Overwatch League. But then Blizzard realizes something here, okay? They realize that there's a little bit of controversy going around in the last few weeks from people who don't really know what they're talking about, where people are complaining that women are not really playing very many prominent roles in esports, and like I've already completely debated in one of my previous videos, more or less it's a controversy that is either being completely made up or it's being based off of things that aren't truly as significant as they're trying to make them out to be. So Blizzard, knowing that there's obviously a desire for more prominent women roles and stuff in these esports games, doesn't intervene, okay? They sit on the information, they let it go by, and in reality, they kind of let it go pretty much in hopes that Ellie was going to make it into the league and was going to become, you know, kind of a piece on the chessboard that they could play, that could possibly get hype around the Overwatch League. That's what people are kind of, you know, guessing. And honestly, given everything that we've seen, it doesn't seem that far off. Like, it makes sense on pretty much every level. It pleases the fans, it can get more people talking about it in the press, which is basically free advertisement, and then on top of that, it's gonna make them more money. If more people are tuning in because there's more prominent females playing the game and stuff, you know, they're gonna have better sponsorships, they're gonna have better prize pools, and as the league grows in popularity because of things like this, they're going to make more money. And this Richard Lewis really has come forward saying that this is why Blizzard does it, and his reasoning really is because he says people aren't talking about Overwatch that much anymore, besides about how it's apparently, you know, swirling down the pan and whatnot, which I can see what he's saying, but on a competitive level, really, Overwatch is one of the most popular esports in the world. But I mean, yeah, with all of this going down, I mean, it's definitely free advertisement, and it could make Blizzard a lot of money. I don't think he's too far off, but it's just insane that all of this has happened and that it's gotten so much coverage, okay? Because the thing I don't understand, okay, I watch a little bit of esports. I don't watch the Overwatch League. I don't play the game or anything. The most esports I really watch, it comes down to like Madden tournaments, CSGO events maybe once or twice a year, but mostly I watch a lot of the Call of Duty World League. I've been to the championship event for that league, and in pretty much every tournament I've ever seen, these people are actually playing on a stage where you can see who they are. And I don't know how it works in the Overwatch League. I don't know if they play strictly online against one another. I don't know, you know, I have no clue. But if they aren't playing online, how are they even really ever going to get this thing to work? Like, how is this whole Ellie situation gonna work out for either side? How is he gonna fake being Ellie on stage in front of thousands of people at this event, and of course to hundreds of thousands on the internet through like the cameras and stuff like that? And how is Blizzard going to get away with that? How are they gonna actually get an Ellie, I guess, really on a stage? So I don't see how it was ever really gonna work out, and I see why they made the risk, because both sides really had an opportunity to really gain from it, but it has completely backfired, okay? Now Blizzard is getting a lot of heat from the community because they allowed this to go down, and they kind of used really SJW attention on the gaming scene really to possibly pad their own wallets, and there's been a lot of controversy really slewn at the community and at this Punisher Row guy who actually is the real Ellie. There's been a lot said about this. I mean, people are ridiculing the Overwatch League and its servers and its competitive scene pretty much for this whole thing. I don't think we've seen anything like this before in esports. I can't remember it ever happening like this really in any other esport. I mean, this is pretty much the first time I think we've ever seen something like this happen. And I think this is going to be a big roadblock that we kind of have to get around for esports to really keep thriving. I mean, apparently it's that easy for Overwatch players to just fake an alias and get signed, and for Blizzard to not do anything about it because possibly they could make money off of it, you know? And if that's the case, it's just going to keep possibly backfiring, and it's going to do much more harm than good. And really the worst thing about this for Blizzard is that it's gonna really hurt the credibility of women going into this Overwatch League in the future. And people who are trying, or women I should say, who are trying to get into the esports scene in their games, because now that one of the bigger examples of a girl apparently rising the ranks and actually getting picked up and everything has turned out basically to be a fraud set up by a guy, I mean, pretty much any girl now who tries something like this is probably going to just be accused of being the next Ellie, and ESPN says this, but I mean, it's kind of true. Like, now that you think about it, they tried to kind of use the whole woman thing as a reason not to go after it because they thought it could really help, and it might just hurt them in pretty much all future scenarios in which they get legitimate women to actually try to play, which obviously isn't good for anyone. Fans who want to see more prominent women in the scene are gonna have to see their favorite players possibly be ridiculed off the stage or something stupid. Blizzard's gonna have to deal with more hate towards the female players from now on probably, and then of course the girls themselves who actually want to play now have to deal with being called the next Ellie. It doesn't seem like it really is gonna work out for anyone now, you know? And as of the making of this video, Blizzard has issued a statement pretty much just completely shifting the blame, trying to act like they didn't really know what was going on. The Punisher guy has been dropped from the team that had signed them, or was trying to sign them, whichever it was. I've seen conflicting reports. Some say that they actually were on the roster. Some say that they didn't do anything because it wasn't an official signing or anything, which, I mean, I have no clue. Just seems like a really bad situation, guys. Let me know what you think about this whole thing down below. Do you think that, you know, there's something that could be made of this for people, or do you think that this is something that's really gonna harm esports? Let me know what you think down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're brand new around here. Follow me on Twitter at @SubToOptimus. Join the Discord down below. Thank you to my channel members for your $5 a month. Your support helps my channel tremendously. You will see the names of them on the screen now. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, faking his role as a female to get into the Overwatch League, and signing out.